What's up YouTube? This is your favorite movie nerd here to update all of you on the annual movie news, reviews, and clues. So, the end of the year is right around the corner, which means that we have a brand new year full to the brim of movies to look forward to. And so today, I'm going to be going over my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2016. Granted, my preferences may be a bit different than most other people's, but guess what? This is my list, not anyone else's. So if you want to do your own list, make your own list. So coming in at number 10 is a film that's been the subject of a lot of controversy, but it's also got fans either really hyped or really not hyped about it, and that is Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, the next installment in DC's cinematic universe, which will finally see the Caped Crusader take on the Man of Steel for the first time ever in live-action superhero TV. Now, I know that I've said there are a lot of stuff that I have a problem with in this movie, but of course I'm gonna go see it. It's Batman versus Superman. We have never gotten to see these two on screen fight each other at all, let alone be on the screen together. And also, this is going to hopefully open up DC's cinematic universe to allow them to bring in their heroes and villains in order to finally bring up a superhero system that will ultimately compete with Marvel. So that's my pick for number 10 most anticipated film of 2016, Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. So my number 9 is a bit different. We're going back to Marvel, and that is Marvel's Doctor Strange. So this is going to be the next original pick, which will see Benedict Cumberbatch portray Dr. Stephen Strange, a surgeon who, after breaking his hands in a car accident, loses everything, and then goes on a quest to retrieve it all by transferring from the scientific to the supernatural. It's got a fantastic star in Benedict Cumberbatch. It's got a fantastic director, Scott Derrickson, who's done some fantastic horror movies, and it's also got a great supporting cast. You've got Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One, Chiwetel Ejiofor as Baron Mordo, Rachel McAdams, Michael Stuhlbarg, Mads Mikkelsen. I am really excited for this movie because if there's one thing that Marvel has proved, it's that they are fantastic at turning a very small-known comic into this big blockbuster. So that's my number 9, Marvel's Doctor Strange. My number 8 is one that's going to be on a few people's lists, but probably not as many, and that is the Fifth Bourne movie. Now, we already saw the 4th movie, which was Bourne Legacy, even though it didn't actually star Jason Bourne, it starred Jeremy Renner as a completely new guy. I had a few problems with this movie, and that was that A, Bourne wasn't back, but it just didn't have the grit and the drive that the original 3 Bourne movies came back. Now, Matt Damon declined to return to the 4th movie when director Paul Greengrass said that he was not coming back. However, Greengrass is elected to return to direct the 5th Bourne movie, which means that Matt Damon is back. And also, you've got Tommy Lee Jones will probably play the villain in another action-packed, really gritty spy film that will hopefully be one of 2016's best. For my number 7, we're now going straight into blockbuster territory. This is a movie that's actually coming out in quite a few months, and that's not too far away, and that is Jon Favreau's The Jungle Book. Now, I loved this movie growing up, and when I heard that Jon Favreau, who was effectively the man who helped kickstart the Marvel Cinematic Universe, was choosing this movie to direct next, I was stoked. Not to mention the fact that the cast is fantastic. You've got Bill Murray as Baloo the Bear, Ben Kingsley as Bagheera the Panther, Idris Elba as Shere Khan the Tiger, Scarlett Johansson as Kaa the Python. You've got Christopher Walken as King Louie the Orangutan. I'm just so stoked for this movie because I get to see a movie that I loved as a kid now on the big screen, now that I'm technically a legal adult, and I love being back in Disney's world of giant talking animals, even if they are all CGI. That's my number 7 pick, Disney and Jon Favreau's The Jungle Book. in at number 6 will be DC's second entry in 2016, and that is the Suicide Squad movie coming out in August. This movie will take a complete left turn from their previous installment, which was Batman vs. Superman, and will instead focus on the villain aspect. It will star Viola Davis as Argus head Amanda Waller, who was in charge of putting together secret Black Ops missions comprised of forcing supervillains to go on Black Ops missions in exchange for shortened prison sentences. The film will star Will Smith as Deadshot, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, Jared Leto as the new Joker. This movie is chock full of star talent. It's got David Ayer, who is a very underrated director in my opinion, who has done some incredible work, particularly with End of Watch and Fury. And I am really excited because DC has always had one thing on Marvel, and that it's that their villains are so much better than Marvel's. Marvel specializes in creating cookie-cutter villains that you don't care about, that are meant to last for one movie and then die. But DC's villains are always the ones that pack the emotional and terrifying punch, because they always tend to be these psychotic psychopaths with some serious powers that can really threaten the DC universe's heroes. That's my pick for number 6, Suicide Squad. Alright, so my number 5, we're taking a break from both Disney and Warner Brothers, and now we're going over to the third biggest industry for superhero movies, and that is Fox, with my number 5 pick being X-Men Apocalypse. So this will pick up from X-Men Days of Future Past. After Wolverine went back and changed the whole timeline thing, the X-Men will now find themselves facing off against Apocalypse, their most dangerous foe, who is quite possibly the world's first mutant. This will bring back our favorite stars from the last one, James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, Nicholas Hoult, and everyone's favorite part of Days of Future Past, Evan Peters, as well as bringing in some new talent, particularly Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse. Now, I know everyone's been saying, oh, this guy is looks ridiculous. He looks like Ivan Ooze from Power Rangers. I think that I don't care how he looks. I think that he looks fantastic, and I know that Oscar Isaac is going to bring it, because Oscar Isaac has brought in every single performance that he's been in. He was my favorite part of the new Star Wars movie, after Han Solo, of course. Oscar Isaac is an incredible actor. He's going to bring his all, and I'm really excited because we're also going to get to see some of our old X-Men people as younger stars. You've got Ty Sheridan as Cyclops, you've got Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones as Jean Grey, you've got Cody Smith-McPhee as Nightcrawler, you've got Ben Hardy as Angel, you've got Alexandra Shipp as Storm, you've got all these X-Men stars that we grew up loving now as teenagers, and they're ultimately going to have another huge fight in what is going to be one of the best installments of next year, I'm hoping, and that is X-Men Apocalypse. My number 4 pick is something that I've noticed that hasn't been on a lot of people's, but it's going to go on mine because as a huge Harry Potter fan, I feel inclined to put this one pretty high on my list, and that is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. It will bring back director David Yates, but it is a spin-off slash prequel to Harry Potter, as it will take place in 1926 and feature famed beast hunter Newt Scamander and take him to New York, something that we've never seen in the wizarding world before, and will show a box of magical creatures that he has, ultimately getting loose around New York City and him having to find and track down each one of these creatures. We'll have a brand new cast comprised of Eddie Redmayne in the titular role as Newt Scamander, along with supporting players including Dan Fogler, Catherine Waterston, Ezra Miller, Colin Farrell, John Boyd, and Ron Perlman. This is a movie that I'm super excited to see because I loved all the Harry Potter movies, even the bad ones, and I'm just as excited to get back to this wizarding world that I've loved since I was a little kid. Number 4, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Alright, so my number 3 is one that's only about 2 months away, and that is the ultimate, what I'd like to say, spoof on most superhero movies, but it's also hopefully going to be one of the best movies of 2016, and that is Deadpool. I cannot wait for this movie. First off, this is an official superhero movie, not a graphic novel, a superhero that is being rated R. But not only is it that, but also you've got Ryan Reynolds back in this role to officially take it over, wanted to see some justice get done to this character after the absolute mess that was X-Men Origins, where they taped Deadpool's mouth shut. How? That is just a crime, in my opinion. But this movie looks like it will have all of the dick jokes, chimichangas, violence, blood everywhere that has made Deadpool such an iconic character for everyone. And yes, people are complaining, oh, this movie's got a bunch of 90s references, but that's what's gonna make it good, okay? So, and what's even better is that it looks like they are having it take place in the X-Men universe with Colossus being in it, and a fantastic supporting cast. I just cannot wait for this movie. My number 3 pick is Deadpool. So for my number 2, we have got another very expected entry that's been on a lot of people's lists, and that is none other than Captain America: Civil War. This is the movie that will kick off Marvel's Phase 3, and we'll see after an international incident that involves Captain America and the Avengers causes worldwide pandemonium, the governments of the world team up to form the system of accountability of when to call the Avengers, and it splits the superhero community into, you've got Cap and his Avengers fighting against it, and Tony Stark and his Avengers surprisingly fighting for it. In fact, this is basically Avengers 2.5 in that you've got a whole bunch of other guys in it. You've got Vision, Ant-Man, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Bucky's back, and then all the guys you saw from Avengers 2 and Winter Soldier. You've got the Russo brothers back to direct it, which means it's hopefully going to be more along the lines of Winter Soldier, which was one of the best Marvel Cinematic Universe movies to this date, and I cannot wait for it. Comes out in May. My number 2, Captain America: Civil War. So now all of you may be wondering, well, what movie could possibly outbeat Captain America: Civil War for my number 1 position? And I'm glad you all asked that, because my number 1 is none other than the not sequel but spin-off to the biggest movie so far this year, or I'm talking about Star Wars. Rogue One is my number 1 pick for my most anticipated movie of 2016. And I'll tell you why. This movie is being directed by a new director. JJ is not directing this one. This one's being directed by Gareth Edwards, the guy who gave us the Godzilla movie that came out last year, which I really liked, even though it had a lot of mixed reviews. And this one will serve as both a prequel and spin-off in that it focuses on the group of rebels that stole the original Death Star plans preceding Star Wars: A New Hope. You've got a fantastic cast. You've got Felicity Jones from Theory of Everything, Ben Mendelsohn from Bloodline and The Dark Knight Rises, Forrest Whitaker, Mads Mikkelsen from Hannibal, Alan Tudyk from Firefly, Riz Ahmed from Nightcrawler. Really great cast, not to mention the fact that this might be another chance for diehard Star Wars fans to get another look at Darth Vader, since this takes place before A New Hope. So that is my number 1 pick for the year, Star Wars: Rogue One, my most anticipated movie of 2016. That's it, that's my list. For more info on me, follow me on Twitter @MovieNerd, or go to my website, movienerdreviews.com. That's it, have a good one, I'll see you next time.